Ever since Evan Shanks got the Lexus version of this same car, I have wanted to build one. However, the kits were pretty rare, and if you could get them, they were pretty expensive. Now, recently Fujimi re-released this kit, and luckily the price dropped a lot and I was able to get one. So I really wanted to build it in a similar style with the similar wheels and a similar color, so I figured why not just go out and do it. So let's go through the box quickly and then into a bit more detail. So when going through the box, you notice that the kit is not really that detailed with that many parts. However, the parts that are there mostly are nicely detailed, and they have added some parts that I haven't really seen before in kits. Now, the dashboard is nicely detailed, has some vents and some nice panels on it, and as you can see, there is something missing here. Well, they have added two pieces here to give you an option with a display and just a radio alone. So that's a nice detail, and the same has been done for the steering wheel. They've added two options for the airbag situation. I'm probably not going to be using either and change the steering wheel at all, but it's a funny little detail to add. The main interior tub is molded in one piece, and the bottoms of the seats are molded in. So changing these seats out would be pretty difficult, as you would need to cut a lot of this stuff out. Now, not really that you need to, as the details that are there are nicely done. It even has some nice patterns on the seats or the centers of the seats themselves that can be found in these luxury Lexus or Toyota items from this era. Now, there are some parts missing here, and they have added those here, as you can paint them in a different color or maybe match them to the trim of the dashboard. The seat backs and fronts are molded in two pieces. This is the rear. It even has some detail for the netting, and the front has the same detail as the rest of the seats. In the other sprue, you can see the steering wheel and at least the centers for the airbag piece and the horn, and on this you have the main steering wheel, which you need to place either of those parts into, of course. So even though the kit does not come with an engine, Fujimi did decide to detail the chassis a little bit. They added the exhaust in and also some parts for the transmission, and some other details are hidden behind this big shielding piece of plastic, and the same goes for the rear parts with the spare tire and even some heat shielding for the exhaust. The exhaust comes in two pieces for the rear half at least, so you can either choose to go with a single exit or just a double exit as was designed in the car itself. In a previous sprue you could see another spoiler. I think I'm going to be using this one. It's been a little bit more down low, and I think it suits the style of the car a bit better. On some additional sprues you get some details for the wipers and also some parts for the rear view mirrors and the exhaust tips. The kit comes with two sets of wheels, both stock options on the actual car back in the day. I don't really like any of them, so I will be changing them out. However, they look period correct and size correct. They have some nice tires on them with some nice detail on the profile and also on the sidewall with some writing on it. Of course, they also have some polycaps. In this case, you get two sets because you have two wheels and some of these center pins to mount the wheels and still have them spinnable. Comes with a nice sprue of clear parts as well. The main clear part is molded in one, except for the sunroof. You get that optional. It's not molded into the body itself, but there is a line so you can cut it out and use it if you want to. It has some nice details for the rear and front light housings as well. and some other light lenses are also nicely detailed with some lines in them. Same goes for the rear. It doesn't really have a clean line on where to add the black edging, but that will probably be sorted easily with just some time and attention. As usual, Fujimi doesn't really go all out with a lot of decals, just the ones that you need. Some for the license plates, some for the interior, and a couple of badges for on the car itself. The main body of the kit is molded in one piece. The front and rear bumper are already molded on, so you don't have to use a lot of glue and probably mess it up when gluing those in place. The body is also molded in white, so you can paint it pretty much any color you want. It has some big fat mold lines here which need to be removed, and also has some running on the side. They aren't really that pretty, but they are in locations that they can be removed easily and not really get to mess up the rest of the model. Some of the other panel lines are already nice and wide, they just need a bit more depth, so a little bit of scribing will be needed.